There is much evidence today, historical evidence, that Yahshua was first stoned before he was crucified, so that all Israel can see, hear, and fear. So all Israel can what? See, hear, and fear before he was crucified. I won't go into the evidence today. I can get it for you and email it to you if you need it.
Amen.
In the Jewish Talmud, and believe me, they don't make this stuff up because they hated Yeshua. We don't use the Talmud for anything except to verify truth. Not to establish truth, but to verify truth. It says there are two parts of the Talmud that speak of Yeshua's death. The first part says, the bastard, the son of the whore, was hung. Ben Staida in Aramaic was hung, was stoned on the eve of the Passover for blasphemy.
That's what the Talmud says? Wow.
Ben Staida, the son of the whore, was stoned on the eve of the Passover for blasphemy. Then we have another passage in the Talmud that says Ben Staida, the son of the whore, was hung on the eve of the Passover. Which one is true?
Oh.
The reason he was weak and he couldn't carry his cross, he had already been stoned by the Jewish elders, but they couldn't finish the job because they could not put him to death, and he was supposed to die under Roman hands. So the Jewish elders began the stoning, and he was weak. By the time he had to bear his cross, he got up there. The Romans put him on a cross. So who killed Mashiach? Everybody killed Mashiach. That reconciles the discrepancies in the Jewish Talmud. One verse says he was stoned at Luz, which is a metaphor for Jerusalem. Another part says he was hung in Jerusalem. Which one? Was he stoned in? Was Yeshua stoned in Jerusalem, or was he hung? Yes.
I love it when you do that.
So he got stoned, so that stoning, yes, even though it is for today, is not incumbent upon us and doesn't fall upon us, because one got stoned, we hear the gospel, we hear, we shema, and we fear, so we don't have to be stoned, because one boy, not a girl, Yeshua, has already been stoned. And the reason he couldn't carry his cross was not just from the Roman nails, it was from the stoning. But Yahweh made the stoning in such a way that not one of his bones was broken, so he could be the Pesach lamb. Yahweh didn't allow the stones to kill him, but to weaken him. Come on, somebody.
Wow.
Come on, somebody.
I got it now. I got it.
What congregation are you going to get this stuff in?
Nowhere.
The first congregation of the know-it-alls. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. And that's why we need people to stay with us, to pray, support, and be faithful in their prayers and their giving.
Amen.
Not to waver. Not to waver. Okay. So if one is stoned for all Israel, then obviously others are going to have to be. Was Yeshua stoned for us? Yes. Yah Rachamim, we don't have to be. Will Ray ever get stoned? No, because Yeshua was stoned for us. Will Rivka ever get stoned? No, because Yeshua was stoned for us. There's that principle. So we're stoning for yesterday? Yes. We're stoning for today? Yes. Who gets stoned? Nobody then and nobody now. Rachamim! That is what Rachamim is all about. The stoning was there as a Damocles sword hanging, ready to be enacted, and was never enacted. Rachamim! Boy, I'm preaching. Woo-hoo! I feel the Ruach.
Amen.
And we start winding down with even more revelation. Is anyone enjoying?
Amen.
Even though I asked you that. Devarim 21 and 22. Devarim 21, we finished today's Parsha. Devarim 21, this was cold, and now it's warm. It must mean I must have been going home for a while. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. If a man has committed a sin worthy of death, then he shall be put to death, and you shall hang him on an eighth. What is an eighth, Darrell? A tree. If a man has committed, let me read it again. If a man has committed a sin worthy of death, then he shall be put to what? Death. To death, and hang him on a tree, eighths. So in other words, brothers and sisters, verse 22 of Devarim 21 speaks about the death for criminals, not rebellious children. I'll say it again. This speaks of the death for what? Criminals, not rebellious sons. Now remember that Yahshua, our Savior, was reckoned with among the criminals in his death. It makes sense that he was first stoned for our rebellion in place of us being rebellious, being made the sole example he was, so we would not have to be stoned, but he was also hung on the tree as a criminal so that we would not have to be hung as criminals with criminal charges against Yahweh and his Kadosh Torah, even though we were criminals. He was stoned for our rebellion, and he was hung for our criminality against Yahweh.
Wow.
With me, Chris? He was stoned for our rebellion and hung for our criminality, like a common criminal against Yahweh.
Wow.
This is all in one portion. This is all in one portion. This is all in one portion.
Hallelujah.
You enjoying this, Darren?
Oh, yes.
So first, the stoning is the death for rebellious children. Then the hanging is the death for what? Common criminals. We were criminals against Yahweh. We had broken his Kadosh Torah. And so he died for us, and he was stoned for us. So that now we are no longer expected to be rebellious or criminals. We ought to be Kadosh. Even, listen, we ought to be Kadosh and led by Kedoshah, even when it doesn't feel right.
Oh, man. Wow. That's awesome.
We are to be led by Kedoshah, Vincent, even when it doesn't feel right. Does plural marriage feel right? Not really, to a lot of us. It doesn't matter. Does stoning feel right? Are you kidding me? Stoning? What are we, in a Geico commercial, living with the cavemen? Good morning, Israel, as in good morning, Vietnam. It ain't about what feels right. It is about Kol Amar Yahweh.
Amen.
So this liberator, this Yeshua, died for us, for our criminality, and was stoned for our rebellion. And we wind down with two more scriptures. Verse 23, Devarim 21:23. The criminal's body, notice, shall not remain all night upon the 8th tree. You shall bury him when? That day. That's why Yeshua had to be taken down before sundown. Follow me?
Yes.
He cannot stay on the tree overnight because according to Deuteronomy 21:23, his body for our criminality and violating Torah being outlaws against Yahweh, if he was buried the next day, then he couldn't have been the criminal to take our place. He became a criminal in place of our criminality, and he had to be buried the same day. Why? Because he that is hanged is cursed by Elohim. Meaning Yeshua literally carried the curse of the Torah upon his shoulder. What does it mean to carry the curse of the law? What does it mean to carry the curse of the law? That the Torah stinks, and that it's just a bunch of Jewish legalism? And praise God that Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. Right? Wrong! Just the opposite. He was cursed because he was carrying the curses of our broken Torah. We broke Torah, and he was carrying our curses. As it is written, cursed is everyone who hangs on a tree. And Yeshua's body had to be down that night. His body couldn't have been left on the tree, because if it was, Torah would have been broken, and he could not have been our Savior. That his body had to be down that very same day. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
Go with me to Galutia, please. Galutia. There's that book again. Galatians. The most pro-Torah book in the entire Word of Yahweh. That's right. The most pro-Torah book